Wow, NFL players are supporting Donald J. Trump on live TV. We're going to break down the latest iteration and show you some other star NFL players who have recently come out in support of Donald J. Trump, including the most hilarious former player, Antonio Brown. But just this happened last night, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus the 49ers. You had Nick Bosa. He just posted this on Instagram because he's so proud of this moment, showing him with a Make America Great Again hat on Sunday Night Football. This is on NBC. And if you know NBC, MSNBC, a network that is not too favorable for Trump. So very hilarious moment, huge moment. And you can see that Nick Bosa, the star pass rusher, is very proud of this. He was not even originally a part of this interview. Now he's sharing this on Instagram. So check out the clip right here. You had Brock Purdy, Isaac Guerendo, the backup running back, and George Kittle being interviewed. And I want you to pay close attention to the reaction of Brock Purdy and George Kittle in particular when Bosa does this.
What was said during halftime? Hey, all right, Nick Bosa with a message.
So it depends where you stand on the political aisle. Some people who are more in favor of Kamala Harris are going to say that the players were uncomfortable with Bosa doing this. Obviously, people who support Trump are going to say, oh, they all love it, right? This is a very polarizing topic. I know we're getting into showing this, but this happened on live TV, and we've not seen this happen for Kamala Harris. We have not seen a player come out and wear a big Kamala Harris shirt. We haven't seen that happen this election cycle. Obviously, we've seen NFL players and the NFL itself sort of lean closer to one candidate, especially in the Trump era. But this was absolutely hilarious. Brock Purdy notices it.
Nick Bosa with
and just laughs. I can't make out what he says here.
Bosa with a message that.
And Kittle's laughing. So it has to make you wonder. Nick Bosa has always been openly favorable to Trump. We don't know the political affiliation of Brock Purdy or George Kittle. Do they seem sympathetic? Are they interested in this? Clearly, it brightens their day and makes them smile seeing Bosa do this. And even Isaac Guerendo, he's smiling there too. So it's got to make you think. Obviously, depending on what side of the political aisle, you're going to have some assumptions. But Bosa was asked about his MAGA hat statement after the game. And here's what he had to say.
Would appear to be a political statement.
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time.
They asked him if it was a political statement. He says he's not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time. So Bosa is trying to get out the vote for Donald Trump. Also, when Donald Trump had that assassination attempt on him, you saw Bosa post in support of him. And at a UFC fight, you had Bosa pictured with Donald Trump in March of 2024 with quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. And that was quite interesting because Joe Burrow has always seemed more Democrat Party affiliated. He was in support for March for Our Lives, kind of into gun restriction and things like that. So Joe Burrow always seemed more sympathetic to the other aisle, and you had him willing to be pictured with Trump. I mean, maybe he's just pictured with him because he's a famous guy, he's a celebrity, has no political support for him, but nonetheless, that's what happened. And this is really a big phenomenon that's happened, I think, in this election cycle compared to others with the NFL, where you have people openly supporting Trump. This didn't happen in the past, and the biggest one that happened was Brittany Mahomes, the wife of Patrick Mahomes. Remember, this happened in August when she was under fire for liking Trump's platform on Instagram, the party platform of the Republican Party. She liked it on Instagram, became under fire for that. You saw this here, Trump's whole, platform, the GOP platform. You can see Brittany Lynn liking this, and she became attacked for this. She made a statement acknowledging that she liked it, saying to be a hater as an adult, you have to have some deep-rooted issues you refuse to heal from. There's no reason your brain is fully developed and you hate to see others doing well. So she was offended by the fact that people came under fire, Brittany Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, for liking Trump's post. And Patrick Mahomes was asked about this, and he sort of gave a nonpartisan answer, saying that he loves everybody from different walks of life. But come on, bro. I mean, if your wife is liking stuff about Trump, if your wife is openly coming out and saying that she supports Donald J. Trump, then Patrick Mahomes, you mean to tell me you have different political views than your wife? Maybe Patrick Mahomes is a far leftist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez supporter and doesn't support Donald Trump, while Brittany Mahomes is a hardcore Trumper. Maybe that's what they got going on in the bedroom. Who knows? But in my opinion, I think with basic logic and reasoning, you can assume that Patrick Mahomes also supports Donald Trump. And you also had Brittany Mahomes today, as I'm speaking to you, not back in August like that earlier post, share a Christian message amid backlash over her perceived support of Donald Trump. And she said Jesus didn't have to agree with people to be kind to them. So Brittany Mahomes is still reacting to all of this Trump backlash. So this is an article obviously on Fox News. Patrick Mahomes has apparently also said that he's Christian, but she made this post out of nowhere after all this controversy regarding her supporting Donald J. Trump and the cryptic messaging. And the reason why this has been such a big story is because Taylor Swift, she obviously is a big supporter of the Democratic Party. And right after Brittany Mahomes had all of that where she came out in support of Trump and he had Trump compliment her, you notice that in the skybox, Taylor Swift was not sitting next to Brittany Mahomes. This was a big story. They have since been pictured together since then, but it was kind of awkward and a little too obvious that she chose not to sit with Brittany right after she supposedly endorsed Donald Trump. And you've had Trump recently saying that he likes Mrs. Mahomes much better compared to Taylor Swift. She's a big Trump fan. Trump said on Fox and Friends, I like Brittany. I think Brittany's great. So Trump loves Brittany Mahomes now that she loves him. And Trump is also probably going to be a big fan of Tua Tagovailoa's wife. This happened not too long ago. In early October, Tua's wife showed support for Donald Trump. She reposted a post by Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson is a popular pro-Trump conservative commentator on YouTube and X platforms. And you had Anna Tagovailoa repost Trump giving some aid out there in Florida, and people caught wind of this. Notice the fact that Tua's wife supports Trump. A lot of people started to think, does Tua support Trump? Just like with Brittany Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes, I think the same reasoning applies. You really think that this married couple has significantly different political views? I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if Tua did not support Donald Trump after hearing that his wife supports Donald Trump. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, Tua hasn't made a public statement, but it wasn't only Tua's wife of the Miami Dolphins who came out in support of Donald Trump. You also had Raheem Mostert, the running back. His wife came out in support of Trump too. She talked about the fact that she's received some backlash for it.
I'm okay with the backlash. I think that she truly needs to look at herself in the mirror and realize that she is ill-equipped to be the next president of the United States.
So Raheem Mostert's wife also endorsing Trump along with Tua's wife. So you got star quarterbacks, star running backs, star pass rushers all coming out in support. And you also have former stars of the NFL, and that is Antonio Brown recently speaking at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. This is absolutely hilarious. I mean, no matter where you are in the political aisle, I don't know how you cannot enjoy this comedy. AB hugging Donald Trump. Oh my God. AB was trying to get the full hug. He wanted the hand around the waist. He was trying to fill up Mr. Donald Trump over here. And AB, happy as he could be that he's supporting the Trump campaign. He actually did a speech at one of Trump's rallies before Trump came on. You had Trump actually talk about him, introduce him along with Leveon Bell. So Leveon Bell also with Antonio Brown showing some support at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. This happened during the Steelers versus Jets game, prime time. So these guys were out in the crowd. Le'Veon Bell has been stumping for Trump on X and a lot of social media platforms. You had AB, though, coming after the VP candidate with Kamala Harris, Tim Walz.
You know, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, do you really know they want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom? Is that crazy? That's really insane, right? And by the way, tampon Tim Walz, he isn't a real football coach. He could never guard me. Guys, how is business?
Oh my God, Antonio Brown. Tim Walz is not a real football coach. He could never guard me. I mean, Okay, AB, but I don't think the coach is involved of covering wide receivers. I don't think Tim Walz is supposed to backpedal and do some press coverage there. But Antonio Brown, nonetheless, stumping for Donald Trump, hugging Donald Trump, along with all these quarterbacks who seem to be supporting him. So Bosa is becoming popular because when he was a much younger guy around 8 years ago, he made fun of Colin Kaepernick for protesting during the football game. And so part of the controversy here is keeping politics out of sports. And oftentimes when people who are Democrat aligned bring up politics in sports, most notably with the kneeling fiasco with Colin Kaepernick, you had people on the right say you should keep politics out of sports. Now, I kind of don't think people are being 100% here, because when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling, when was the first time he kneeled? I've done multiple videos and research about this. I know the first time any NFL player ever kneeled during the anthem was in 2016 when Trump was running against Hillary Clinton. So it has really only been in the Trump era that you've had tons of players kneel. Kaepernick kneeled by himself along with Reed, the safety, in the 2016 season. And then in 2017, when you had tons of players kneeling, that was during the Trump administration. Even though there had been police brutality instances in the Obama era, you never had players kneel during that time. So in my opinion, this Kaepernick kneeling, the NFL players kneeling, it was never nonpartisan. It was never just anti-police brutality. It was solely political. It was anti-Trump protests during NFL games. That's what it was. You can try to finagle around it and say no, but the timing of it makes it very clear that it was all just against Trump. And look, there's nothing, look, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe, that's fine. But trying to make it seem like the Kaepernick protesting or any of the NFL protesting was nonpartisan, I think that's just false. And I also think that's very misleading to say that. So, you know, Kaepernick has pretty much been a political spokesperson against the Trump right, and he's pretty much become a Democratic Party spokesperson as well. So the whole keep politics out of sports, Kaepernick didn't keep politics out of sports. Bosa is not keeping politics out of sports, and maybe this is their right. At least Bosa was not doing this during the anthem. He chose after the game to do this. I wonder, though, if the Niners would have lost the game, would he have still done this? This is much easier to do this when you get the dub, but when you've taken an L, is he going to do that? I don't know. Regardless of your political perspective, though, man, I'm cool with everybody. I support everybody, but this is nonetheless a big story. People used to keep their support for Donald Trump under wraps and quiet, especially in the post 2016 era. But now it seems like things are changing, where you got multiple players, some of the top players in the entire NFL talking about this. I almost forgot that right before the regular season, you also had Raiders star pass rusher Max Crosby pose with Donald Trump along with quarterback of the Raiders Gardner Minshew and special teams player Alex Bachman there. So not only do you have all these other stars we mentioned, but these guys also supporting Donald Trump, posing with him in August. Obviously, it's not a clear-cut endorsement, but if you're willing to be posed with this guy, pictured with this guy, that's a big deal. And like I said earlier, that's something that's very different than the post-2016 era. Like this video if you have not yet. Subscribe to me, Wi-Fi Willie, for more content. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.